I do not speak of anything that I do not live. That is the secret of truth in any of us. If I live it, then I can say it. If I don't live it, then I am just a drum beating in a vast universe. Let us start at the beginning, for that's what you are here for. Always for the beginning. For the beginning is in you. In you who are listening to these words. And in I who am uttering them. To listen to the truth. To be the truth, which is the whole idea of listening to the truth, is for you to be the truth that you hear. You have to listen in your own experience. This is a term that is not very widely understood, because most people listen in experience, not in their own experience, but in what they have experienced in the sense of external experience. What they've read, they listen for what they've read, what they've heard in the movies, what they've seen on the television, yes, what they've read in the newspapers. There is an area of us in which that is absorbed. And there is an area of us, of course, which copes with the daily challenges of existence, earning our living, having relationships with our mother and father, with our loved ones, and our love life generally. These are all experience. But what I'm asking you to do is to listen in your own experience. And it is up to me to make that distinction and make it clearly so that you know what you're doing and which area of your own psyche you are using or invoking. It is because people do not know the difference between experience and their own experience. They just accept it as a conglomerate, that they are confused, that they are not true to what they are. Now, someone happened to write to me the other day a quotation from Shakespeare, because I had mentioned Shakespeare's quotation in a previous meeting or tape about the futility of existence. And here is this quotation in reference to your own experience. Shakespeare says, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow, as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man," let's say anyone. But Shakespeare doesn't say how you can be false, how you can be true to that in you, which is emotional, in that part, that self in you that is angry. How can you be true to something inside of you that is angry? If you are true to anger, then you have to be true truly anger. If you are true to unhappiness, then you have to be unhappy. So you see, all poetry, and as magnificent as Shakespeare's poetry is in so many ways to so many of us, and demonstrates the human condition in so many wonderful ways, it's not enough, because to thine own self be true. Well, what are we talking about here? Someone who is emotional, in a partnership, let's say, will often declare, I tell you, this is how it is, this is the truth, and you are a so-and-so, so-and-so. Now, that person will think they are being true. But where I come from, they are only being true to their anger and their position. And this whole quotation is about being true to something else that is not yourself, that just can't be defined or described. And yet, as we proceed here, you will know in your own experience what it is. To thine own self be true. And it follows as night follows day, that you will be true, not only to every man, but to every living thing on everything, even the furniture in your house, you will be true to. You will not destroy anything needlessly, although you may have to destroy many things because you have to. Not by choice, not out of anger, not out of discontent, but just because that's the way of things, that everything has to perish, has to pass away. But your good intent is to protect everything, like the flowers in your garden, the furniture in your house, your car, whatever you own. You do your best to protect, as much as it is possible in this existence, to protect anything. Now, your own experience refers to the quality of life. It doesn't refer to winning the lottery, because you could win the lottery and you could say, I've experienced winning the lottery. And you would think, perhaps, that that was in your own experience. Well, it is your living experience, but it's not your own experience, because your own experience is about the quality of life every moment. And winning the lottery is filled with hopes about the future. Tomorrow I'll pay off the mortgage. Tomorrow I'll do this with all this money. The only thing is that tonight you might die. So it's an experience, all right. And so most of our life is this experience. We can't deny that. For that is the very nature of existence as far as we are concerned, is that every moment is an experience. We are being bombarded by experience through our senses. Sight, hearing, heat and cold, all those things. Every moment it's there, something's coming in through our senses. But true to your own experience is not true to your senses' experience, it is true to that which is behind your senses' experience. And that is what you are. I'll give you an example. To love. What is it to love? Now, there are many, many levels of love as far as people are concerned, because they will say, I love you, and have an argument with that person. And That to them is their love, that they love the other. But is that love? To love and argue, can that be love? Well, it is clear and self-evident, isn't it, that although there is no doubt in the person who loves the other, there's no doubt about that love. We can't question that. But is it real love? And the answer where I come from is no, it's not real yet, because it has disharmony in it. And love, in your own experience, has to have no disharmony in it. In your experience, now have you experienced love? You see, many people have written to me and spoken to me at meetings and said, I know I have not realised or known love. I know I have not known love. Now that's a wonderful state to be able to say that, because most of the world would say, of course I know love. But I'm talking in your experience, which even though you may not, that may not be in your experience, I'm telling you it is in your experience, because the reason it's not in your experience is that you pay more attention to experience than your own experience. Your own experience applies to the quality of life. Now, people, when they have an argument with their loved one or their mother or their father, whom they love, and I don't question that they love them, such people often feel better. Don't they? They feel better. They've released something. They've released some of their anger, some of their pent-up frustration on the other. And it is justifiable by the feeling in them that I feel better now. The only trouble is psychically, what you have got rid of is now in the other. For such love and hate, or love and emotion, is transmitted psychically, one to the other. And so if I am angry inside myself and discontented, I transmit or emanate something psychically to the world around me. This might not be in your experience, but if you look closely, you might hear the ring of truth in it. And to hear the ring of truth in it means there is something in you, your own experience, that knows that this is true. And so it emanates, such as if I argue in front of the children, it's only a passing moment or day or few hours, but psychically it enters the children. And they get a wrong notion of what living together is about, don't they? You don't do this to children without children absorbing the model of the parents. And we can follow this right through. Because an angry person, do you want to be with an angry person? Well, of course you don't. Of course you don't. That's silly. But are you ever the angry person? That's not so silly a question, is it? So all I'm doing is talking sense. And talking sense is the first thing towards being true to your own experience.